What's going on, guys? Today on this SHOKY third-party tiny little Transformers review, we've got some new-ish stuff from a NewAge Toys, and it is the Legendary Heroes. Psychic Ready, my command is your wish. And we got number 11, Electronic Warfare BERIAL, number 10, Espionage ABADON, and number 12, Psychological ASMODEUS. So this is, of course, the Insecticons, tiny little itty-bitty bug people. Yep, and we do have some, of course, very, very similar to G1 style artwork going on here. Of course, I really do dig that. If you saw the latest In the Kitchen with SHOKY, you saw I pick this up. They have been out for a while now, and this is the normal color version. They also have the kind of animation version where the colors are slightly different. I might pick those up just to troop build a little bit. And also have just a slight variation. I mean, the only real difference is like the grays and the purples are really the only difference. There's no other stuff going on. So if you come around to the side, you got their different insect modes. The Psych Commando, ABADON, BERIAL, ASMODEUS. Come around to the back, you have a nice image here of them in a little woodland creek coming out of there. You got warnings, all things like that. Come around here, you got them all in their bot modes. You come to the bottom, you know, all the same stuff. Come to the top, all the same stuff. And I did pick this up from TF Source, though it's available generally where you can buy your third-party Transformers. You can get them at Chosen Prime, BBTS, wherever. Just, you know, check and see if they're in stock. A lot of them still are, and for about $60 to $70, thereabouts. Somewhere in between there is how much these guys cost. And you say, hey, that's a lot. And then I say, yeah, you know what? Who cares? If you want them, you buy them. So let's go ahead and get them out here. Alright guys, so here we have our Insected boys in their buggo mode, and if you want to see how to get them into bug mode, go watch the T.A.R.o video, although it's kind of weird because they're not really rolling out, but I guess it is what it is. So of course here you can actually see their lovely Energon Cube accessories, I guess. They are just this kind of semi-translucent plastic, and you can see there they have really bad nub marks, but they're pretty cool, and they're kind of glowy. I dig that, so that's neat. Comes with 3 of them, so that's nice, especially for building out some type of, you know, diorama situation. So as you can see, they're tiny. Let me bring them in a little bit closer here. So these guys are little bitty, like you thought the camera boys from last time were small. So this is, of course, in their Insecticon or modes. And just for reference, there's a Seeker, you know, in comparison. So that's pretty darn big. Now, of course, they are Insecticons, so they're not meant to be huge. I want to see something real quick. I have my blacklight flashlight here. Oh, yeah. Look. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. That's fantastic. Sorry, I figured that they were going to be photoreactive to some degree. I might need to brighten things up a little bit. We'll see what happens. But here we go. So let's look at Mr. Bombshell here. So he looks pretty good. We got some purple paint here on the sides of his back end. We got some yellow bits there to replicate like the eyes, so to speak. Little itty bitty Decepticon logos. So those, of course, are from repro labels. Not a specific set, that's a universal set. He does have his little horn that can move a little bit. That is, of course, going to be his weapon later on. And underneath, you do get some kind of visible arm syndrome for the most part. They all have some visible bits, but for the most part, they're pretty solid and pretty invisible, so to speak. And then we have Mr. Shrapnel, or Scrapnel, as he's known now due to weird copyright laws. By the way, the silver paint on these is actually really well done. Definitely seen worse. He does have visible arms, but you can do what you can do. He does have a little gun here. That's optional. So if you just want pure insect mode, there's that. Now I'm trying to remember. I think he's a stag and he's a Hercules, if I remember. No, this is only stag. Looks more like a thing. That's a Hercules beetle. I always get those backwards. Another label there. It is what it is. He's got slight visible head syndrome, but due to this bit covering up his face, as we'll see later, it's pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know what you expect. The Insecticons were never that crazy, or, you know, detailed. So they're what they are. They're little bug robots. en masse. And then we have a little Kickback here. Now, of course, forgive me for not remembering their New Age names. Now, he definitely suffers from visible head syndrome because his head's just right there and he's facing the ground. He's got a little tiny yellow antenna there. I did put a different type of Decepticon logo on there so it stand out a little bit better. He does have a tiny bit of paint right there on the back. Some yellow paint here, which is always a good thing. And visible arms with a gun in his hands, because, well, why not? And that's an option you can do. You don't have to. I don't really feel like it's part of the bug mode, but it's there. And I will say, like, I didn't do an out-the-box review for these like I normally would, but I did take, because I really, really, really wanted to play with them, so I just got after it. And just trying to figure it out, I got these guys at least 95 to 99% correct right out of the package, so they're fairly well intuitive, though there are a few things that are not intuitive. So, like, I did not understand to take this part and flip that out. When we get to the transformation here in a second, you'll see what I mean. There was a thing here, yeah, on Bombshell, figuring out how those went was difficult, and then trying to figure out these little slidey bits here, I also couldn't determine on my own. So eventually I did have to look at the instructions after I got through with it. So I don't know about you guys, but I like to experience my Transformers raw, so to speak, and then try to figure them out. And if I can't, then that's when I consult the instructions. So let's go ahead and start transforming, shall we? We'll start with Kickback because he's in my hands, and he's actually probably got the easiest transformation out of all of them. So for the legs, go ahead and just fold this up. He has this other hinge here, flip that around, and his grasshopper foot becomes his robot foot. Wow, it's amazing. Okay, and so for, hey, the hips are interesting. So he's got a hinge here at the thighs, and then just straighten those out, and then straighten the legs back down. Now his arms are all up in his crotch, so that's something we got to deal with. So we're going to split the arms like I did a second ago, and then you'll see they come out on these little swing out pieces, which is cool. Now we got nowhere to go here, so we got to figure this part out. I'm going to go ahead and pre-rotate the head. Go ahead and rotate his wings back. They'll stop in line right there. So we flip this up, go ahead and rotate the shoulder and plug that in right there. That's a cool detail. I like that. I feel like I need to move the camera just slightly. Here we go. And now to clean up his backpack, this was the thing I discovered. I was like, what the heck? You flip this open, you go ahead and close the little Insecticons. Get all that nice in there, and then using the double hinge system, you plug that in there, and then flip the hips forward into place, straighten out your arms, and Bob's your uncle. You have a little grasshopper butt. So he's pretty neat. You see there, nice painted red visor, got a little smirky face going on. The chest and all the details are the same. You know, ball joint mounted arms, get you out to 90. You can rotate, ball joint, elbow, so there's all your rotation. The hands do not move. And then you have this forearm peg for transformation that unfortunately does not tuck away, so that's something you just got to deal with. Legs don't really change much. Obviously your hips do the thing, you know, ball joint knee and ball joint mounted foot for your rotations and all that stuff. So he can get into a decent little dynamic pose. I'm trying to remember, does he have any rotation outside of the knees? No. Okay, so foot and knees do all your rotating. The hips only do so much. Just be careful. They are tiny little bot boys, and we need to give him his gun, which is this one. And we'll just tuck that in his hand, and we'll set him to the back, and hopefully he'll stand there. Go to the back, Kickback. Alright, so Mr. Bombshell, as it were, go ahead and yoink his horn out. Don't twist it, pull it straight out, and you can see there it's got flat sides to it. So also very nice silver paint. And then come underneath here, you can go ahead and close his insect legs. Come underneath here, and these parts tab into his hands, so go ahead and do that. Straighten out the arms, pull that out, straighten out the arm, just to kind of get it out of the way. And then we're going to basically unfold his shell, split it, because you have to get these big old tabs around the legs. Do the same thing on that side. Flip up the little ball joint mounted toesies. And then just close the legs. Now I do wish that these parts could clean up a lot better. They just hang off the back of the calves. So it is what it is. Go ahead and rotate at the hips. I don't like how tight that is, so I'm going to go the other way. That was a lot of resistance, so that was definitely needing to go the opposite direction. So, I mean, we're almost already there. So go ahead and straighten out your arms. Straighten out your shoulder bits. Flip your elbows that way. Flip your hand that way. Now, I feel like there's some variance in that. If you watch the T.A.R.o video, I rotate the arms a different way. So the interesting thing is the forearms are not symmetrical. They're identical, and I think that might be a mistake. It doesn't really bother me. It's just a thing. I mean, you can always turn them inward a little bit so you don't see it, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm just glad the hands do rotate. Now, you got to get his head out. So you grab this part and just flip all that forward, and this is a neat little bit of engineering. So tilt his head back just a little bit so you don't drag it, because he's got just that little cutout there for it. Rotate it, and then close it right back up. And there we go. There's our little Bombshell friend. And he's definitely got his kind of knight-esque helmet and face mask with the red painted eyes. Like I said, Decepticon logo that I put on there. Silver paint right there on the chest plate, which is neat. He does have these the ball joint shoulders. You got to rotate around. Just beware you don't want to rub that paint off there. But he does have this nice hinge for the shoulder. I digs that. And a little ball joint, obviously, for the elbows. We already talked about the rotating wrist. Hips are on ball joints. Well, you have a hinge knee technically there, and then you have the ball joint. So you technically have a double jointed knee, just depending on how you want to apply it. And then the toe rotation. And then if you take his little horn, you just flop it down, and it becomes a gun. You can go either way with it. It really doesn't matter. And then you just slide it into his hand. It is a little bit floppy, if I'm honest, so just be wary of that. So, tiny beetle guy. I guess they're all essentially beetles, except for the grasshopper. It would have been cool if they had a praying mantis one. Alright, so now we're on to Shrapnel, or Shrapnel, depending. Alright, so he's kind of easy. So we want to come up here to the insect legs. Go ahead and close them up and just leave them like that for the time being. Grab the hands and arms, slide them down. They just connect to these pegs. Push these little guns or skids or whatever their legs they're supposed to be, and just push them in. Now they become those things. And they ask you to fill out the forearm as well, so that's kind of cool in and of itself. And then for the leggies, just go ahead and untab them, flip them down, and there's actually a hole right there in that crotch section, which is not actually the crotch because we're going to turn the legs around. Go ahead and extend these. They do have a double hinge there. Grab the other side of the leg and rotate it 180 degrees, but you'll see this tab right here, so you got to rotate it to where that will clear, and then you just close the leg down, shift your foot down, so rotate, come on, there we go. And then like so. I like that the post fills in the gap, and then you have the tab that does that. That's very nice cleanup. Rotate 180 degrees at the waist, and you've got him essentially almost done. So with the insect legs, just fold them straight down like that. There's our focus. And then this was the part that I said I didn't realize. So I just had the face out like that, or turned. I didn't realize that the chest opened up. It actually fought me the first time. It was very stiff. So fold away that face cover, close up the chest, and we're done. Super simple. So it looks very nice as well. Super red visor, silver painted face, and all the heads are either on a swivel or on a ball joint, just depending. Figure out how you want his horns or jaws or whatever you want to call them, pincers. Just figure out where you want them to be. Doesn't really matter. Ball joint mounted arm can go around. Ball joint mount or ball joint elbow. I don't know why my focus is being wonky. There we go. Ball joint elbow. Hands are fixed, so that sucks. And then you have your little underarm gun, so to speak. Chest has silver paint, yellow plastic, and black paint there for some details, which is nice. And the waist, you can do splits. You can do all the kicks, forward, back, all the things. Even though he's kickback, he can do a lot of the kicks back. He's actually got real thigh rotation, which I think is the only one that has that, which is neat. And then a regular knee hinge, which he's the only one who just has a knee hinge. And then the ball joint mounted feeties. That's fine. And then grab his other gun, stick it in his hand. There we go. There's our tiny little Insecticon boys, or psyops guys. They're hungry and they want to eat some metal. So that's pretty cool. I really do dig this team. I'm sad that I waited this long to get them. I really, really do like them. So let's do some quick comparisons. So let's bring out our Wally. Push back just a little bit so we can see. So you can see Wally is actually taller than them. So that's scary. And we'll bring out our tiny camera boy from last time, so you can really see the difference in height. So the Insecticons really are tiny, even compared to Reflector. And another Decepticon bot is just a little bit taller. And then Megatron. So you can see they are not even half the height, that head, of Megatron. So they are tiny, tiny little guys. So know what you're getting into. Now, you're going to argue that the cost sucks, but these things are really good. And they come in a multitude of flavors. So like I said, you get these, which are the normal color. You get the animation color, which the purple is a bit more muted, and I think the yellow might be as well. And then they also have the clear ones for those weirdos who just have to have that. So like I said, I might pick up some of the animation ones just for the heck of it to build out a few more. I think I'm actually going to have these guys in insect mode. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll keep these in bot mode, and then when I get the next ones, I'll keep them in insect mode, just kind of crawling about, playing with some of the Energon cubes. So that's actually pretty neat. I like the Energon cubes. I wish more of them came with them. I think the new Soundwave might come with some Energon cubes. We'll see. But these aren't even the tiniest bots that we're going to get, because we will have some of the tape bots with that new Soundwave that will be functional and also very tiny in comparison. But guys, give me a big old thumbs up if you like these bug boys. If you have them, let me know. And if you're planning on getting them now that you've seen how awesome they are, also let me know. And like I said, I did pick these up from TF Source, but if you want to grab them anywhere else on the internet that sells third-party Transformers, by all means. And I definitely suggest getting some repro label stickers. These are just kind of the universal clear or silver-backed Decepticon, or just Transformer emblems. It's just up to you which ones you want. But I like these guys. I think they're pretty cool, even though they're so tiny. But I'll catch you guys next time. And remember, as always, keep on nerding.